So there's been some big news in the LEGO community lately. In late 2019, the new LEGO game was announced to be released in December of 2020. The game is LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. At first, I thought, a LEGO game with the last 3 Star Wars movies? I mean, it makes sense, but if they had plans to do that, then they shouldn't have made LEGO Star Wars: The Force Awakens years ago. But no, it's all 9 movies in one game. This is going to be the biggest LEGO game of all time. And not in just, size and how long it's going to take, but this is the most anticipated LEGO game, ever. No other LEGO game on its announcement has been this crazy. People are going nuts. But this just puts into perspective of how big this game is going to be. In the first the first 6 movies that were in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga, all a long time ago, there was 6 levels per movie, so that's a total of 36 levels. But now you're adding 3 more movies to that. That's 18. 36 plus 18 is 54 levels. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to have 54 levels, but that is kind of a little gauge of how insane this is going to be. But then, you have all the planets you could go on for free roaming, and they could totally do this. If they could do this with LEGO Batman 3, which is not a Batman, and DC Comics in general is not really a franchise that's that associated with space, they could totally have a bunch of planets that you could go to. So you have all of this, and what you have here is a game that is going to take 5 years to get 100% completion on. That's great. I need something to dull the pain of my miserable life in quarantine. Okay, so maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. But anyways, the announcement of this game has made me want to look back on all of the LEGO games that I've played throughout my childhood and just kind of talk about them. And I'm gonna rank them! Now, obviously, I'm not 9 years old, as the title of the video might imply. You look like you're 9. Shut up, Marvin! But the 9 years isn't how long Traveler's Tales, a company that makes LEGO games, have been making LEGO games. The first Traveler's Tales LEGO game was LEGO Star Wars in 2005, so they've been around for about 15 years. The 9 years is how long I've been playing LEGO games. When I was 5, I was kinda meh on LEGO games. In fact, the first few LEGO games we had were technically my dad's, because I wasn't really old enough to have my own video games. But one night, I was playing Nickelodeon's Battle for Volcano Island on the Game Boy Advance SP. And it's pretty difficult, and I was getting frustrated. And my dad could see that I was getting frustrated, and he just said, hey, you should play something else. And, I don't know, I had some sort of stigma towards LEGO games back then. I never really played them, but thought they were kind of overrated. I was going through a phase where I would hate something because it seemed popular. But it's not like there was much else for me to play. A lot of the games I just didn't show any interest in, or I wasn't old enough to play. So I decided to pop in LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. And that's when everything changed for me. I'm not gonna say anything else, because I'm doing this mega review chronologically. Also, before we start, I'd like to note that if there's a LEGO game that I've either never played or not played enough to have a lasting impact on me, I'm not gonna make the list. So if you see if you see a game that's not on the list, just know that I didn't forget anything. I just have not really played that game. Now, the first 2 LEGO games Traveler's Tales made were LEGO Star Wars the video game and LEGO Star Wars the original trilogy, the former being based off of the most recent 3 movies, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith, and the latter being based off of the first 3 movies, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Technically, they're the last. Well, I was always confused by it. I thought that Phantom Menace and those first 3 came out first chronologically, but I don't like how they did that, but this isn't about Star Wars in general. Anyways, I don't have these 2 games, but I had the next best thing, which was LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. And now this is more of the common and popular one of the 3. You don't really hear people talking about having LEGO Star Wars the video game or LEGO Star Wars 2. Mainly, when you hear about LEGO Star Wars, it's LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. It wasn't really considered the third installment, at least I wouldn't consider it the third installment, because it was basically the first and second games compiled into one game with remastered graphics. And for this game, what can I say? I mean, it was a great start to my LEGO game playing experience. It does feel a little bit old after playing it now, but it's not like the better graphics of future LEGO games makes this one feel hard to look at all. When I still play it, I still understand everything that's happening. I think that what makes LEGO Star Wars especially great is because it's the first LEGO game, and it goes out of its way to not be a dud just because it was the first one off the griddle. You know, it could have totally been like, it could have sucked, and Traveler's Tales could have just used that as a crutch, like, well, that was our first try, give us a few more. But no, they totally went guns blazing, and they totally paid off. And the gameplay for an older game is, well, it's not that old, but like for a LEGO game, it's super engaging. And they immediately introduce you to the reward system of mini kits, red bricks, and unlocking characters. It's all there, and it's so satisfying to this day. The variety of characters you can play is pretty good for an earlier LEGO game. It's not the best, but back then it was pretty good. And that's not something all LEGO games can say. Indiana Jones. Speak of the devil! I didn't get this game until a little over a year ago, which is sad because being the LEGO fan I am, you'd think I'd be all over this, right? Well, Indiana Jones is truly amazing. It feels kind of cool when you're playing just as a mortal human being that's not living in outer space. But that being said, there's a lot of problems with this game. First of all, isn't it great in a LEGO game when you can come across something that you need a specific character to use? The bliss of switching to that character in no time at all. Well, in 2008, TT said screw that. Instead, having a bunch of characters with special abilities, you have to go on a scavenger hunt to find them. Need a key to open a lock? Dig in the dirt for it. What now? You don't have a shovel? Too bad! It slows the pace of the game down a lot. Now, that being said, some characters do come with accessories, like Henry Jones and Elsa. They both have books that they use to solve puzzles or like runes or whatever. And some characters do have shovels. There's also this weird feature where you could steal an enemy's gun once killing them and use it to blow up silver objects, which I appreciate that TT was trying to make the whole experience feel more realistic, but it felt kind of awkward. Another problem I have is, well, let me put it this way. Remember in my video about LEGO Incredibles how I don't like it when LEGO games waste spots on their roster of playable characters over lame characters with no abilities at all that could have just stayed NPCs? Now, every LEGO game is guilty of this to some extent, but LEGO Indiana Jones has this smeared all over the game, and maybe there are some people that like these characters, but there doesn't need to be several versions of Indiana Jones, Marion, Willie, you get it. Now, there's one final thing that I'm not counting against LEGO Indiana Jones, but it's worth mentioning. This game, at least the copy I have of it, is cursed. For example, one time after school, I was just playing some LEGO Indiana Jones, and my dog Elvis started to bark wildly out the window. I turned my head to look at him, and I noticed that the whole room was darker than it was when I started playing, and it wasn't even 4:30 in the evening yet. And it was so dark because a severe thunderstorm was about to happen, and tornadoes ended up touching down just miles away from us. And I'm not saying that LEGO Indiana Jones caused tornadoes, but it's very sketch. And it's not just that. One time after school, I came home with a headache, and I took some Motrin for it. I made the terrible decision to take it alongside some iced tea left over from breakfast. When I sat down to play some LEGO Indiana Jones, I realized I was on the minecart level. And I think that, mixed with the tea and the fact that that was one of the first times I'd ever taken Motrin, I used to take Advil, I became extremely motion sick. I continued to play a few more levels, but I was not feeling very good. My body kept switching from feeling hot and cold, and that's something that happens when I feel sick. And whenever I jumped while playing as a character that had double jump, it made me feel even more sick. And eventually I put my foot down and took a shower, hoping that would make me feel better. I mean, it's still a LEGO game, and it deserves respect for that alone, but it's still way below LEGO Star Wars, the complete saga, in my opinion. And right now, I'm just sorting this kind of rank off of the tier list thing. I probably could do screen record, but I'm just gonna film this, and I'm not really gonna bother with putting each one in a different tier. They're all LEGO games, so they're in S. So as you can see that, you got LEGO Star Wars and LEGO Indiana Jones back to back. don't think there's a game, at least any Lego game I don't think there's a Lego game that is as aesthetically pleasing as Lego Batman the video game. I'd say this is like the last game in the Lego Stone Age trilogy, which is basically a borderline ageist way of saying first three Lego games. This is also the best of the three. Why? Because, for one thing, it's miles and miles away from Lego Indiana Jones, and it's good for the same reasons that Lego Star Wars A Complete Saga is good. But it feels more modern, which is ridiculous because it's 12 years old now. But one of the great things that this game did was that the first two entries didn't provide an original storyline using characters from the Batman, DC comics, This game was separated into three parts. Part 1, we were trying to apprehend the Riddler, along with his cronies, which are Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Two-Face. Part 2 has Batman trying to locate the Penguin's lair, and he busts famous foes like Catwoman, Bane, Killer Croc, Man-Bat, and of course the Penguin. And the third and final chapter has you pitted against the Joker and Harley Quinn, and their allies, which are Mad Hatter, Killer Moth, and Scarecrow. I hope I'm not forgetting about anyone. But yeah, I have very fond memories of all these characters and games, and this is one of the most fun games to get 100% on until it's not. I'll get into that in a later episode, but for now, I only have positive things to say about Lego Batman, the video game. So if you couldn't tell already, this is above Lego Star Wars A Complete Saga and is currently at number 1. This doesn't go against the game at all. But I didn't become a huge Harry Potter fan until I was like 7, which was when I got the game. It's good. It feels like the story of Harry Potter, but retold through Lego, and I guess that's what they were going for. But here's the thing. This is a very different game than the others on this list. Each character has a spell wheel, which is sort of like a weapon wheel from GTA 5. Any character can choose from their wheel any spell they've unlocked. I love this feature because it wouldn't make much sense for only one character to be able to use Wingardium Leviosa when it's like the first spell every character learns in the book and movies. The main problem is that there are only 4 mini-kits from each level. I'm totally kidding. I'm fine with that. And the mini-kits are supposed to be are supposed to form the Hogwarts crest. Oh, for cute. The real thing is, this is the hardest Lego game I've ever played. There's a lot of what do I do now moments in Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4, and sometimes the gameplay can be kind of touchy. When I think of the 2 hardest parts in this game, one that comes to mind is the underwater challenge from the 4th movie. At some point, Harry comes across an archway that's blocked by the tentacles of the giant squid, and small pink auras surround different parts of its tentacles, suggesting that you could use the Wingardium Leviosa spell on it, but you have to be in a specific spot by the archway in order for that to work. When I got stuck there, I looked it up on YouTube, and the difference in placement between the correct spot and the spot I was at was so small. Basically, I thought that even the internet couldn't help me on this one, and that really just kind of crushed me. Harry Potter franchise in general has a very special place in my heart, so this puts the game higher up on my list. If I wasn't a huge Harry Potter fan, you could bank on me not really liking this game very much. But with all this in mind, I would put Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4 between Lego Star Wars A Complete Saga and Lego Indiana Jones The Original Adventures. For someone that isn't a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise in general, this is one of my all-time favorite Lego games. I mean, it's one that I've been playing continuously since I was little, and there isn't really anything wrong about the game. I love all the secret rooms you can enter in free play to get mini-kits. The whole system of free play is really at its finest in this game, with the 10 mini-kits and 8 objects for Captain Jack Sparrow to find using his compass. One thing in this game that I was always enamored with was the free roaming capabilities. It was one of the most advanced free roaming maps for Lego games at the time. Although technically the free roaming map in Lego Harry Potter is bigger, there isn't much stuff to do and to unlock there, so it doesn't really count. But one awesome thing about free roaming in this game is how you can fight characters that seem like mere NPCs, but once defeating them, you can unlock their character and play as it. And they're not NPCs. They're actually, cool characters. A lot of them are, the fish pirate guys that work for Davy Jones. You can tell by how I'm talking that I am completely, uncultured in, Pirates of the Caribbean. And this leads me to the next point, is the playable characters. And a lot of the characters are pretty cool, and this game did a good job of not putting in useless characters or repeats. I mean, there are a few variations of Elizabeth, but they're pretty cool, so I don't mind. The one thing I think LEGO Parts could have improved on is the amount of playable characters. There were so many other things this game improved on, better graphics, better free roam, etc. But the best part of the game is the soundtrack. It's probably the best LEGO game soundtrack ever. I mean, my favorite song in a LEGO game is the Lemuria theme from LEGO Marvel Super Heroes 2. But LEGO Pirates just has good songs all around. This should be obvious, but I put LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean very high between LEGO Batman and LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. LEGO Harry Potter is back and determined to make a better name of itself, as if it already wasn't good enough. I mean, it was a good game. It's a LEGO game. Come on. And I must say that it is an improvement. From what I recall, there's not many frustrating moments, and the graphics are extremely better. Given that the last 3 books and last 4 movies are considerably more action-packed, this game is a lot more exhilarating. I actually haven't gotten that far in the game. I've only completed all the levels. I haven't really made an attempt to get 100% on it yet. I don't even have the cover of the game. I got a used copy off of GameStop. I don't even know why we didn't just get the original game. Maybe I just didn't want to pay as much. I don't know. But one of the highlights from this game is getting new spells you can use as Harry progresses in the game. This fueled my obsession with the spell Aguamenti, which probably explains why when I went to Universal and the Harry Potter world and I got my wand and I went to the stand where you could use Aguamenti and it didn't work, I kind of went nuts. Honestly, there's not much to say about this game. It's basically like the first game, but with better graphics and some kinks that were worked out since LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4. Overall, I put LEGO Harry Potter years 5 through 7 between LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4 and LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Okay, I don't feel good about reviewing this game. LEGO Batman 2 was the epitome of a guinea pig game. For one thing, it was the first game to have human dialogue, which was nice. All the games before this had unintelligible mumbling coming from the characters. But LEGO Batman 2 also was the first game to have free roaming on a large scale. Up until this point, if you only got 100% on all the levels, you were probably at 90% completion. But now there's more that needs to be completed to get 100%, so it has to be the next big thing, right? I mean, after all, the first of something is normally pretty good, right? I mean, look at LEGO Star Wars. Well, it's not fair of me to judge this game because I've played so little of it, but I mean, I know I said I wouldn't review games that I played little of, but that would leave me at 13 games on this list, and call me like a, OCD or whatever. That would just drive me nuts. But let's get to the point. Up until this game, when you decided to play a level, you could play whatever level you wanted, which, I mean, I don't agree with that, because it can really mess up the story. But when I was a little kid, I didn't care. But now, you can only play the levels in order of the story. I mean, obviously, once you've completed a level in story mode, you can play them out of order to your heart's content. It's this forced order that sticks out in the game because it was the first one to do this. Now, this mechanic is now expected in about every LEGO game, and I don't have a problem with it. It's just how you get to where you need to go to start each level. Every level is started in a different place, which is great because, they're using the new free roam map to spice things up a little bit. So there is an element of driving around to find the right spot. Because of the large free roam map, there's some sort of compass mechanism that by your player profile and health bar, and it sucks. But if you ever get the chance to play this game, you'll understand why future LEGO games upgraded to a GPS map in the bottom left-hand corner. I had problems getting to the place I needed to get to, which was frustrating because according to the compass, it looked like I was there, but in actuality, there wasn't anything there. By and large, LEGO Batman 2 was revolutionary. It pioneered proper voice effects, improved graphics, and jump-started the trend of free roam in LEGO games, which is something that I can't get enough of. I have not played much of this game, and it was a tough decision between this and LEGO Indiana Jones, but I ultimately put it a cut above LEGO Indiana Jones because, I bet if I played it, I would like it more, and I already am kind of liking it more. So this is the list so far. From best to worst, it's LEGO Batman, the video game, LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, LEGO Star Wars, The Complete Saga, LEGO Harry Potter years 5 through 7, LEGO Harry Potter years 1 through 4, LEGO Batman 2, DC Superheroes, and LEGO Indiana Jones, The Original Adventures. Now, I'm gonna have to cut this video off because if I don't stop, this video is gonna be like 40 minutes, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want you guys to have to watch a 40-minute video. I've already made long videos in the past, so I kind of want to stay away from doing that. I'm cutting this off now. Don't worry, there's going to be a part 2 very soon. I will probably be working on the part 2 very soon after I get this uploaded. So just wait, and you have something to look forward to, right? I mean, yeah. And also, real quick, I want to give a shout out to tiermaker.com. Helped me a lot in this video. I had an original idea of how I was going to show the rankings, and I'm lazy, and I didn't want to get up and do that. So I thought, is there any other way? And this kind of came out from the heavens. This is my first time using TierMaker, and it's free. It's a website. You know, you just kind of go up to, just look up tiermaker.com. It's right there. There are a bunch of different templates for different, stuff you can do. Just enter up, like, if you want to rank, Disney movies, find a Disney, just look up, like, all Disney movies. If you want to, like, I don't know, famous cars or something, or, Big Brother contestants, just, look it up. If you want to, do a ranking of, like, the best, chars of Russia, I don't know, that's your deal. You do that. There's probably a template. But yeah, special thanks to tiermaker.com. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Just you wait. A part 2 of this video is going to drop very, very soon. So, just sit tight, and I will be back with some more LEGO videos. Woo!